this was a game changer, an eye-opener, and all of the cliches. So let me bravely and boldly share my first memory of money. So I was 7 years old, and just for a little bit of like context about my family, this is before my parents had their own business. I'm Tiffany Gilliland, your host of the Business Bravery Podcast. I'm an Australian business and mindset coach and marketing service provider with 13 years of experience in online marketing. I help coaches sign clients and grow their business with more confidence and less stress using my Business Bravery framework. It's all about simple steps that actually work so you can build a profitable business that lights you up and feels sustainable. Before we dive in, I want to invite you to join me for Brave Coffee Connections, my free monthly Zoom gathering for coaches and service-based business owners. It's not another networking pitch fest. Instead, you'll connect through powerful questions, small group conversations, and a short visualization to set you up for the month ahead. These deeper connections often lead to collaborations, referrals, and even new clients. Find out more about this free monthly Zoom gathering at tiffanygstudios.com/connections. That's tiffanygstudios.com/connections. I'd love to see you there. In today's episode, I am talking to you about how childhood money stories can block abundance in your coaching or service provider business. So, this is not your usual childhood money stories, right? I'm not new to doing work on money, but this is particularly about like your very first memory of money. And this was somewhere that I haven't gone before, and it left me feeling a lot of ways. And I was very surprised at what I found there and and how much I could see the patterns following me through my life. And yeah, I wanted to share this with you because it has been changing my perception. So this is not the first episode that I've done on money and sharing what I've been learning around money and breaking through my money blocks. There's another episode, episode 81, that I did, and I have these money journaling prompts, which you can now sign up for and get them in email form as well. I think on that one, I shared 4 of the prompts. There's a bonus one in the emails, and this is the extra one in the emails that I came across. And I'm working on this stuff actively at the moment and learning so much. Okay. So this is why I wanted to share this, because I wasn't expecting to find this. And like I said, I work on money. I help my clients work with their money stories and things like that. And yeah, like this was a game changer, an eye opener, and all of the cliches. So let me let me bravely and boldly share my first memory of money, okay? So I was 7 years old, and just for a little bit of like context about my family, this is before my parents had their own business. So my parents had a number of businesses, but this was the before they had their business in computers in the late 80s, early 90s, and built it to 7 figures of income within a couple of years on the back of a lot of, how do I explain, like my, years of background in, like they first started using computers, and mum learnt to do programming and stuff when I was 3 years old. That's when I was first abandoned. No, I'm just kidding. But kind of found this amazing hobby and she was locked in. So yeah, anyway, child of the 80s, you guys get it. Some of you will get it, some of you will be like, what? But yeah, anyway. So I was 7 years old, and before that, and my dad was working kind of a, yeah, like more working class job, not even in an office at this time. And yeah, like money, I don't know what it was about money. Like, we had enough, but like, there were definitely times where I think things like, oh, we can't afford that, or we can't afford this, or something was said. Although father came from like an affluent family, so he was pretty careful about like not saying those words in that way. It'd be like, oh, just not today, not this week. He'd just sort of think about it and just be like, yeah, not this week. So yeah, and it's like looking back on it, I think that that was part of what was going on, right? So anyway, it's I'm 7 years old. It's the 80s, and like the middle to late 80s, right? I'm 7, and my parents sit me down and explain that they're about to start giving me pocket money, right? I get $2 a week, right? And I think this is even before Australia had a $2 coin. So right, just before that, at some point, it became a $2 coin. But yeah, like when did we get the $2 coin? 1988. So yeah, anyway, everybody's now calculating my age. Fun times. Back to the story, Tiff. Stop going off topic. Right. So I get sat down and, told I'm going to be getting pocket money in exchange for doing a couple of chores around the house, like things that would be my responsibility. So yeah, and like it's really funny because like when I think about this story and that kind of thing, you'd think, oh, hang on, like I should be excited. It's like I'm getting money, something to do something with or whatever. But yeah, I like my my go-to reaction instead was nerves and the change and everything like that. And just to add a bit more context, like the weekly pocket money, oh yeah, sorry. Did I say weekly, fortnightly? It's like every 2 weeks, basically, I was getting $2, like $1 a week. And one of the chores that I distinctly remember was my responsibility was to clean the back garden because there were like possum droppings and stuff like that. It's like kind of a concrete garden. We were in a townhouse type situation on the Central Coast. And yeah, like that was, my thing to handle. And like as part of me was like, proud that I was like, oh yeah, I can go and do this thing. But it's kind of interesting as I have dived into this and done some journaling and gotten some outside perspective from ChatGPT of all places, right? And God, guys, ChatGPT, it is scary, is it not? I've just like I've just okay, I'm going off on a tangent. I apologize, but all right. So I've been playing a lot with ChatGPT and building bots and things like that. I was I was late to the ChatGPT party, and I still have a bit of a this is a scary thing, and it's even scarier when it comes to coaching. For service providing, I think it can be a really effective tool, but there's always going to be someone who has to manage its output and stuff. I hope we never get to a point where we're just throwing stuff into it and just accept whatever comes out, although I am getting a little lazier on that side. But yeah, like it's just, I don't know what it is. Like somebody in the world can be like, hey, you should do this with your business. And I'm like, don't you tell me what to do, and instantly hackles up. And I do know some of the psychology that's going on here. But then ChatGPT tells me, and I'm just like, yes, master, I'll do whatever you say. And it just really helps with my overthinking and my anxiety and everything. And this is a huge part of like why like things I think are going to be changing in my business a bit. And I kind of think that, yeah, like that it's another reason why I created the Brave Coffee Connections because I'm like, right, we need people, we need connections, you need to do business with people. Here's one area where I think ChatGPT can't kill me because it's just like, or not ChatGPT, but AI in general, right? That's not the only one I use, but I am kind of using it more. So yeah, anyway, back to the story. I'm 7 years old and I get this thing and I have to clean up the back garden, the possum droppings. I hate telling people that, but it's really into understanding how this affects what's been going on in the future, right? So I feel nervous, especially because like suddenly like I'm being judged. Like it's not said, but it just feels very much in the subtext of okay, it's like, hey, I have to do a good job or I won't get the money. things like that. And something that ChatGPT pointed out to me was that actually the doing cleaning up the droppings sort of gave my brain this message of like, hey, I can do the hard jobs. Like money is linked to hard work, but also doing horrible jobs that other people don't want to do. And it's like, oh, right, as well as being connected to the nerves and that kind of thing. So then like this has shaped my approach to everything. Like when I was working, I had to work harder than anybody because I was always so scared that I was going to get fired and have no money, right? Like I had to, and then in my business, it's like, it showed up in like, like sometimes like not sending invoices on time because of maybe how I felt about the worthiness or how well I did on a job, overscheduling my time, undercharging all of this kind of stuff. And so, yeah, it's just that whole, and solving big problems. Like I can even see it in the way like I built my business in terms of, okay, my like I started in marketing in 2011. Before that, I worked in IT. So in IT, I didn't have the technical knowledge to get into the depths of things. I had to rely on others. But when it came to marketing, then suddenly like my skills could come into play in a bigger way in terms of doing, like writing and creative work and that kind of stuff. But also, like, I just was always the person of like, oh, hey, you don't know how this tech works? I'll get in, I'll figure it out. Because obviously I had the tech background. So, like that's how I started out. I was working for a university here in Australia, and they were like, oh, we need to do social media. Can you help? And like, somebody needs to figure that out. And I was like, yeah, I'll figure it out. Don't worry. Here, I know stuff. I'll work it out. And so, like, that led to me working out how to build websites and things like that. Again, like I know I had the technical background, but I'm not a coder, but like, working with WordPress and things like Squarespace and Wix and just like getting in and playing around with those things. I love doing that stuff. And then things like, figuring out ads and just, like I ended up becoming like a one-man marketing person for like non-profits and government departments and things like that. Because I just was like, oh, whatever it is, I'll solve it. I'll solve the big problems. Let me solve it. I'll handle it all myself, right? For the long time in my life, I never wanted to be the person who said, I don't know. And, like other than, oh, hey, I don't know, but I can go find out, right? Like that was part of my upbringing as well. Not and kind of related to this, I guess. So yeah, it's just yeah, I can just see how that has played into all these things. The same for like when I had 9 to 5 jobs and like worrying about whether or not I'd get fired and things like that. Part of how I started settling into business was a coach pointed out to me one time of like, oh, when you have your own business, you've got multiple clients. So that way, like if you lose one, you don't lose all of your income. And I just was like, oh, okay, safety. There's safety, right? So yeah, it's recognizing that pattern, right? And then sort of connecting those dots and seeing how you feel, especially like even the nerves in my business, like quoting jobs and just, oh, what if they say yes? What if they say no? And just, yeah, I really brought it in. And for those of you like coaches in the audience or even service providers who know something about mindset and can probably see like the hallmarkers of some childhood trauma and stuff going on in the way that I reacted. Like you guys know that I had issues with anxiety and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. So you can kind of see that playing into these things as well, right? It's not just in a vacuum of I had this experience, but yeah. So some things that I'm doing to shift this story and some things that you can do as well is I've been doing some visualization practice, especially going back to that 7-year-old memory and really kind of like imagining like my dad giving me money just for being me and kind of like rewriting that story. There's been some shifts in like the way that I think about money and talk about money, right? So, like money can feel calm, supportive, abundant. There's been some shifts in rewiring some of the nerves around money to being like, oh, okay, like breathing through it and calming the body. Oh, because that was the other part of that thinking about that first memory, it's okay, what emotion did you tie to it as well, right? Which I said, made me nervous and anxious, but also like where did you feel it in your body, right? Like what, was there tightness in the stomach? Was there, heaviness on the shoulders or tightness in the chest or heaviness on the chest or those kinds of things. And it's just really interesting because like for me, like my whole stomach tightens, right? And it can nearly be like somebody's like, when you wring out a towel or something, and it's just this like this twisting and just it's just sometimes it can feel like that, and like there's like my shoulder blades tighten and things like that, and that same body reaction happens in my business, right? I have to send an invoice to a client and suddenly like it feels exactly the same in my body and I don't want to send it. Even though I've done the work, I've done a good job, they've gone, "Yep, thanks, no worries." And I still have to send the invoice and it would feel like that. I have to send a quote and my body would feel like that. And you can see how that body reaction also then can hold you back from taking more steps in your business and just because like even like on this subconscious basis because I wasn't aware of it until I went through this process, right? Quick break to tell you about Brave Coffee Connections, my free monthly Zoom for coaches and service-based business owners. In just 60 minutes, you'll reflect on brave questions, connect in small groups, and finish with a visualization to set you up for success. It's not networking as usual, no awkward pitches, just real conversations that often lead to collaborations, referrals, and clients. Grab your free spot now at tiffanygstudios.com/connections. That's TIFFANYG for golf, studios.com/connections. I can't wait to see you there. So, yeah, kind of a tangible result of this, plus the other money prompts that I shared that helped me rewire some stuff around, being able to grow my business and setting it up for like honoring my health and my chronic illness and looking after mum and things like that. Right. So I went from having 2K months, right? You guys know I came back from burnout, but yeah, oftentimes sort of like 2 to 3K would be where I'd max out and I'd have some sort of like fall in a heat medical thing happen. So I moved on from that to having like a 4K income week where, people said, yes, I want to do this with you, I want to do that with you, and altogether that added up to 4K. I'm still receiving that money this month, but it will be a 4K month, so it's like I doubled my income and I'm working and I'm focusing on making sure that that continues as well. And I'm just handling all of the the things that I'm doing for, service-based clients. It's a little different to coaching where you got to carve out a couple of hours service-based work and having people work for me on some of the projects and things like that. And yeah, giving them what they need and getting all that together. So, yeah. So, yeah, just doing that process and then like you can even take it to ChatGPT and tell it about like, here's this first memory of money. I want to rewire. Like give me some reframes, give me some, and it'll just keep offering, hey, do you want this breathing meditation and this and that? And it's just like it's been really awesome for my anxiety and my overthinking and all of that kind of stuff, right? And I don't know if I'm doing the right thing because it's like, I'm a coach, I can walk you through that as well. But I don't know, sometimes like there's can be this benefit in like having that as another tool, right? Of course, like I'm here as well. But yeah, I just sort of, like tapping into like what is your first money of memory? No, yeah, first memory of money. What was the emotion that you felt? Okay. Now, and like, where did you feel it in your body? And then, like, in the money prompts that I've got, and like, for those of you who sign up to the Brave Coffee Connections, you get this for free. For those of you who want to sign up for the money thing, just contact me and I can just do that as well and just get you that part. But yeah, it's like, okay, and then we go into, all right, so when did this happen in the last week? Like, what was happening? And yeah, sort of, and then it's like, oh, let's rewire some of this and, and then sort of get some reframes and that kind of thing. So yeah, so now I'm working on some new beliefs where it's like, okay, money can come to me with ease, and I deserve to be paid well for the value I bring. Now, just to show you a bit more of my transformation with this, I had a situation where like a client, she didn't pay the full amount of the invoice by accident, right? She just, didn't add it up right and didn't pay the full money when she was putting it in. And then she said, "Oh, can we just add it to the next invoice?" And like old school people pleaser Tiff, especially like this is a client I've worked with for years and always brings me consistent business and everything, and who I love working with and all that. And like, there was just a part of me who was like, yeah, I wouldn't, like let's just say yes. But there was this other part of me that was actually like, hang on, no, I don't think this is right. And, you know, I don't know. Judge me for this if you want, but then I went to ChatGPT and I'm just like, am I blocking abundance or am I, is this like, or is this, what is this? And it came back to me with like, hey, this is a boundaries thing, and like let's handle it this way, and here's a way you could write it, and it just like helped. So, like I said, I have no idea about the future of coaching because it's just like it can handle things. I think there's still the high level coaching, the I want the results that you got. Like I think maybe some of the lower level stuff that AI can handle, but the whole hey, you have real experience here. I want a taste of that. Help me build this too, type thing. I think that will stick around too. Yeah. Yeah. Also, look at with the first money memory, like what belief did you form, and like what new belief do you want instead? How could you script that or rewrite that or reframe it? And like I said, you can go to ChatGPT for some help on that as well. Yeah, I just like I always find it fascinating to sort of see what it can come up with. And you can always go, look, this doesn't feel right for me because of this, and I still feel this, and it'll, rework itself and that kind of thing. So just as kind of a recap, like, you know, just be aware that your first memory of money may still be influencing how you earn and receive money. And it's just once you're aware of it, then you can kind of notice it and reframe it and, do like I've even been doing some like breathing stuff and everything. It's like you breathe in for 4, hold it for 2, and breathe out for 6. And and then like when I'm sending invoices, like I'm imagining like golden light going out, and it's like I deserve to be paid for what I do and that kind of thing, and I deserve to be paid well, sort of stuff too, right? So just be aware, like, this story is not fixed. You can rewrite it, you can change it, and work with it, but just be aware of how this could be affecting you, okay? So I'd love to hear your first memory of money if you are brave enough to share with me. Come over to Instagram, find me at Tiffany G Studios, Tiffany G for golf, Studios, no underscore, no spaces. And if you want to go deeper with a human, on the money stories and signing your first paying clients or signing consistent paying clients, I do that in with my coaching programs, the Brave Coach Breakthrough, where we sign your first 2 paying high ticket clients, and then the Brave Coach Accelerator, where we actually help you get like the transformation like I've created for myself. It's like, oh, hey, let's go from 2K or 3K months to like double that, and bring in more money and that kind of stuff per month as a consistent regular basis, and let's stop losing clients at certain places and things like that. So yeah, I also have like a once off, like, oh, I've forgotten what I called it now, like a 1 hour like business bravery call, right? For an hour where we can just go deep for 60 minutes and just get into, hey, I just want to, I'm having this issue with money. Let's tackle it in an hour. So, all right. So I want to just end with these words of wisdom, and it's like your abundance and your ability to sign clients, it doesn't have to depend on struggle. Finding clients doesn't have to be hard, right? You can let money and clients come with ease, And just being aware of this stuff with money can just be that eye opener that can just change everything. And please get in touch. I'd love to hear your stories. If this gave you an aha or a shift, I would love to hear it. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. That's it from me. Bye for now. Thanks for listening today. If you're ready to grow through deeper connections, join me for Brave Coffee Connections. It's my free monthly Zoom call for coaches and service providers. No pitches, just real conversations that spark collaborations, referrals, and new clients. Plus, you'll leave with clarity, inspiration, and one brave action for the month ahead. Save your free spot at tiffanygstudios.com/connections. That's TIFFANYG for golf, STUDIOS.com/connections. I can't wait to see you there. Thanks for listening to the Business Bravery Podcast. Has this episode inspired you to do something brave? Even if it's only send a difficult email, please share it with me on Instagram or other social media channels. Feel free to tag me at Tiffany G Studios. That's TIFFANY G for golf, STUDIOS, no spaces, no underscores, etc. Or you can use the hashtag Business Bravery Podcast so that I can cheer you on, and together we can inspire other coaches and course creators to do brave things in their business and life. Now, I'm Tiffany, and I'll leave you with this one last thing. What's one brave thing you're going to do today? It doesn't have to be big. Even the smallest steps can create the most massive results. So again, feel free to share it with me either publicly or privately so that I can cheer you on. That's it from me. Until next time, bye for now.